Hello friends, family, and people of the internet. I just want to start off by saying thank you so much for all of the kind words and positive response about last week's big announcement. I'm so blessed to have such wonderful people in my life that really want to share this experience with me and are just genuinely excited for this opportunity that I've been given. So over the last few weeks, I've been looking at everything that I need to do in order to prepare myself to go and live in Korea. And one of the things that I think would be really helpful is if I learned a little bit of their language before I went over there. So this week, that's what I tried to do.
All right, off I go on my adventure to find some Korean books so I can hopefully learn a little bit before I leave on my big Korean adventure. So let's see what happens. Helps to unlock. There it is. Okay, let's see. Going to Barnes & Noble always takes like 30 minutes longer than it's supposed to because I get distracted by all the really cool stuff. But I found a good book that hopefully will be really helpful in learning a little bit of Korean before I go over there. So we'll just have to see.
Turns out there's not as many resources for learning Korean at your local Barnes & Noble as there would be for learning like Spanish or Japanese or Italian or Chinese or whatever it may be. But I was able to find a good book that I read on the reviews online, say it's kind of the gold standard for teaching yourself and for learning Korean, so hopefully that'll give me at least a smattering so I can go and not just be completely clueless in this new country. The good news is I took 3 years of Japanese in high school and then 2 years I've taken 3 years of Japanese in high school and then 2 semesters in college, so I have a general grasp of how Japanese works. I'm by no means fluent, but based on the limited amount of reading that I've been able to do so far, Japanese and Korean have a very similar sentence structure. For example, in Japanese and Korean, the verb comes at the end of the sentence, and how that verb is used in the sentence affects its meaning. So for example, in Japanese, to speak is hanasu, but if you change the ending of that, or you change the form of that to hanashimasu, it's I am speaking. Hanashimashita is I spoke. Hanasemasu is I can speak. So like I can speak Japanese would be Nihongo o hanasemasu. So the ending of how those verbs are used determines what it means, which is a little bit different than English, where you have speak, spoke, spoken, speaking. It's the same root, but the word completely changes. So in that way, it's a little bit more logical, which is really nice. One way that it is different and that I'm gonna have to learn completely new is, even though sentence structure is the same, is how they write is completely different. So in Japanese, there's 3 writing systems or kanas. There's hiragana, katakana, and kanji. And all 3 of those are used for different reasons, which I won't go into right now, that's just a long explanation. But they're all written, it's a syllabary, and so each symbol represents a syllable in the language. This is different in Korean, because in Korean they have Hangul, which is their alphabet, and Hangul, there are individual letters, but the writing is actually written in syllable chunks. So, for example, this is how you write Hangul in Hangul, and you can see that there are all there's these different letters that make up the actual word, but they're written in a 2-syllable chunk, Han and Gul. Now this is very different to Japanese and is going to take some getting used to, but kanji works in kind of a similar way as the syllable chunks, and it's not exactly accurate to say they're the same, but it's kind of a way that I'm using it to wrap my brain around it. So for example, Nihongo, which is how you say Japanese in Japanese, is written like this in hiragana, but you can use kanji to shorten that and to make it, and it's just another way to write it, which is done like this. So as you can see, ni and go are one letter or one character in hiragana corresponds to one character in kanji, but hon is 2 characters. So it's kind of doing what Hangul's doing and taking one character to represent more than one sound in the language. Now keep in mind, this is a gross oversimplification of how the writing system works and how the language works, but I find it really interesting that the writing system is so different, even though the sentence structure is very similar to Japanese. And it's really cool to see how that changes and how I'm going to be able to use what I learned in high school and college and apply that to what I'm going to be doing now, and hopefully be able to learn some of the language while I'm over there. One of the things I love about what I've done research on both in this book and beforehand is they say that Korean is a very, very logical language. So it's something where if you understand the rules, it's easy to kind of piece stuff together as long as you know the vocabulary, which is really, really nice because I'm a very logical thinker. And so it's really going to be really, really nice to be able to put that stuff together and be able to kind of piece it together, because I would love to get to the point where I'm able to read Korean books and navigate without any problems and order without any problems at restaurants or whatever it may be, and just be semi-fluent, because I think it's really important to know the language in order to really delve into the culture of a place. And so I'd really love to be able to use that in order to explore the country that I'll be living in for at least a year, and to really get a good feeling for what it's like to live in that country and to just immerse myself in another culture that I've never experienced before. And so I'm really excited to get that opportunity, and there's no way that I'm going to be anywhere near fluent by the time I go over there. But to have at least enough to, if I get lost, to be able to say, where's the train station? I mean, that could be life-changing and really, really super helpful. So I really am looking forward to being able to continue to learn and continue that, and hopefully get conversational to a degree when I'm over there. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about Korean and what I'm going to have to do to learn the language before and while I'm over there. If you want to keep up to date on all of what's happening to me over in Korea, go ahead and subscribe. I would just absolutely love to share this adventure with you all. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below, and I'll get back to as many of them as I can. And until then, I will see you all in the next video.